everybody. Welcome. And the sun came out for us today. We're excited to have you come down here and have a ribbon cutting with us. You're going to hear from a group of people who have helped make these projects happen. So I'd like to start off by introducing our president of Friends of Franklin Parks, Jay Sheridan.
Thank you, Tori, and thank you all for being here. Tremendous crowd and exciting times. It occurs to me that many years of work is coming together this year with projects that are coming to completion and projects that are commencing, and all of which are pieces of a big puzzle that are falling into place kind of before our eyes. And so it's really exciting, and we're going to hear about several of those projects today that are results of collaboration and public-private partnership. And so on behalf of our organization, thank you for allowing us to be a part of it. And I want to introduce our City Administrator, Eric Stuckey. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome. It's a great day in Franklin, and it's a beautiful day with the sun coming out. Today really celebrates another partnership, and partnerships really make it happen, not only in helping us achieve a physical improvement, but also build those connections that make a community healthy and strong. And so we're excited to recognize that. I want to recognize the board and mayor and aldermen that are here to support this event and this ribbon cutting. We've got Alderman Brandy Blanton, we've got Alderman Matt Brown. This connects to his neighborhood and his ward. We've also got Gabrielle Hansen, at-large alderman. Am I missing anybody else? I think I got everybody that's here. But the whole board has been very supportive of our work and our partnerships together, and I want to thank them for that. I want to recognize our city parks team. Lisa Clayton, our director, is here, the team she leads. Kevin Lindsay, who is shepherding us all in here, you'll hear from Kevin a little bit later, has been a big part of this project. And everybody in parks, just give them a hand, the folks in green. Thanks for all your great work. My page blew away. Also want to thank the unique partnership and help we get from the Friends of Franklin Parks. Jay spoke just a little bit ago, and Tori's part of that team, but there are a number of other folks that are here that help that happen, and that's a great connection into helping put private dollars into investments in our parks. So let's thank the Friends of Franklin Parks team. Related, some of the same folks are on this too, but we've had a River Walk and Trails Committee working for several years. Let's recognize that group, see some of those members out here. Thank you for your work. None of this happens though without our partnership with the neighborhood itself, the Chestnut Bend HOA and neighbors that are here. Thank you for being here and for supporting this work. We're excited that we're getting that bridge going too, so that's big time. So I want to introduce the next speaker, Adam Balish, have him come up. Adam has been a part of founding the Friends of Franklin Parks. I think this came out of a brainstorm in a Leadership Franklin class many, many years ago. But it's such a valuable partnership, and I want to give Adam a chance to speak about this effort. Come on up, Adam. Thank you.
Hi, thanks everybody, and appreciate everybody coming out this morning. I was hoping we may have about a dozen people set to see the kickoff of this trailhead, and I'm just tickled to death to see the amount of folks that have come out to celebrate this connectivity and the continued expansion of the Franklin Trails program here in Franklin. Probably 8 years ago, maybe, I'm trying to think of how long ago it was, a lot of us sat in some office space at Stites offices in downtown Franklin and brainstormed what it may be like to have connectivity through a Riverwalk trail system in Franklin. And the initial goal was to try to build a trail and connect trails that could go from along the Harpeth River from Carnton and Lewisburg Pike at McHatcher all the way through our great downtown and up towards the rec center on McHatcher. Little did we know it would take us 8 years to formulate such a wonderful plan, but with the opening of this trail today and the partnerships that we'll talk about, that's coming to fruition. And we want to make sure that we're not focusing these trails and these discussions within Mac Hatcher. We believe that this can really be the spine and the nucleus for a much broader connected Franklin, both through our trails, our places of work and homes and everything else, and that this can really serve as a catalyst for that. I wanted to also, similar to Eric, say thank you to a lot of folks that are here and some that aren't. But I would be remiss without first starting with Julian Bibb. Julian has helped usher this conversation in for so long, from the early starting of hosting these impromptu meetings at his office before the Trails and Committee meetings started, to then, thanks Eric, to then helping form the architecture of the legal agreement in this very unique partnership between the city, the county, Chestnut Bend HOA, and Friends of Franklin Parks. And we couldn't be in the position that we are today without his leadership and collaboration across all of those groups. The second group that I want to mention, I'll mention broadly, is the Chestnut Bend HOA. And it was a great organization to work with, and for folks that bought into the vision of this connectivity. When we first started talking about trails in Franklin, there were some concerns about security and trespassing and everything like this, and this HOA really grabbed hold of what this trail could mean to their community and the connectivity. And during the time that we went through these conversations, it took a while. So we have 3 great HOA presidents that we've gotten to work with that I'll mention. Some of these conversations started back with Mike Vaughn, who I see in the crowd and was instrumental in starting these conversations, to then Jim Cheney, and then following up with John Jackson, who you'll hear from in a second. But the fact that their board was able to support this project through multiple leaders, I think speaks wonders for that neighborhood. Next, we want to give a shout out to our contractors that helped build this, and Bell Construction, who I see here today. They were a great partner and have worked with both the city and Friends on multiple projects, and were able to bring their resources to help construct this new trailhead. And then, similar to other comments earlier, really want to give a shout out to Lisa Clayton and the entire Parks Department. We see a huge amount of that staff here today, but Lisa's tenacity and vision for this project, coupled with Kevin Lindsay and their whole team, has just been fantastic. And then last, I'll give a shout out to my fellow board members and committee members on Friends of Franklin Parks and the Riverwalks and Trails Committee, and the countless hours that they've put into helping plan this connectivity throughout the city, as well as the folks that have helped raise funds for this. The improvements were funded through donations that Friends of Franklin Parks received, and we couldn't be here without those folks today. So thank you very much. And so, again, appreciate everybody's support and coming out today. And with that, I wanted to introduce John Jackson, the president of Chestnut Bend HOA.
Thanks, Adam. What seemed like 5 years ago, ribbon cutting was sooner than it's happened, and we're pretty excited to take this next step, both with our private and public partnerships. Most people know Chestnut Bend for its trail system, and this partnership has allowed us to take our greatest asset and make it wildly better. And our homeowners and our neighborhood in general are really grateful for everyone involved. And this week we were thinking over the course of the last 5 years of all the different people we've worked with. And as I look through the crowd, I see faces that have just meetings after meetings for months worked through this, for both the legal agreements, the partnerships, right down to the design of how different things were going to look. And I can't speak to just how open and how wonderful everyone was in really working through this, especially for volunteers who are needing to work through an HOA. It's not always easy, and the Friends of Franklin Park and the city made it just as incredible as they could, and really helped shepherd us through this process. And as I look at some of the people and wanted to thank a lot of you for your help, Chestnut Bend owes gratitude first to Friends of Franklin Park. And it was amazing how many people on both the board and team worked with, and especially from Adam, who, as we came down to even a small detail, we hopped on a phone call, I think 3 months ago, working through something as small as just stone choice. And whenever we bumped into any issue, there was a little ball of energy that would show up, and just her enthusiasm alone made it so that when Tori showed up, we knew the problem was going to get fixed. And through all the different people we worked at Friends of Franklin Park with, we're really, really grateful. And then when it comes to the city, we've had just great interactions from Eric's and Mark's team on down, but with Kevin Lindsay and Darren Humphrey, the amount of patience and time they spent taking care of our homeowners. We had a situation even this week where we had a sign that was just a little too wide on the back, and a homeowner thought it would shine into their house when the sun was just right. Within minutes of the time they heard about it, they came and took care of it and quickly let everyone know. From the response time to the communication, it's been a really strong work relationship. And then when we get to Bell Construction, who was just really great in working with our neighborhood and wanting to make sure they were working with our rules of access and everything, and we're very grateful for the amount of work they put into the neighborhood. And then it comes to Chestnut Bend itself, and one of the things that, as I look around, I see a lot of people who volunteered, and as some people, as Adam had mentioned, Mike Vaughn's in the audience, and this wasn't on anyone's radar in the neighborhood. And Mike really took this and made it something that our neighbors and our homeowners understood the importance of what this is. And Mike was really the catalyst that moved this forward. And then we had homeowners like Jim Cheney, who came in and really helped kind of take that next step in moving the agreements along. And we've had presidents during this time like Mark Warwick and others who just really spent hours working with Friends of Franklin Park and the city and everyone else involved. And through that group of people like Jackson Spain and others who spent a bunch of time making sure that we were, everything from where we were going to place signs to how everything would look aesthetically as we were moving through this partnership, and as well as working through the bridge agreements to make sure this was something that we could sell to our homeowners and that they understood what it was. And it's really exciting to work with a group of homeowners like that. And our current board, which I see Trish Butler and Joe Baldridge and Lindsay Sherwood, and Carl Phillip, they're just really working to make sure that we're going to move this forward as we step into the next couple years of this. And one of the volunteers, we've been really eager to make sure that our homeowners have always gotten notice of who we worked with at the city, what names were involved, and recognized all those who really put forth effort. There's one name who probably put in the most work on our HOA who's never shown up on any of those thank you lists, and that's April Jackson. And I don't think she understood 5 years ago when I volunteered for this that her name was on the list too. And as I saw pictures of her last week holding a bucket that had a drill in it and carrying signs around to be part of this, it's really amazing. This is where we live. So, we're getting ready to stroll after this ceremony down into the place where those of us in Chestnut Bend live. And in working with all of you, it's not just been the quality of people, but it's also been the quality of vision and leadership. And Chestnut Bend is really excited and grateful to be part of that. Thank you. Thank you all. I think the next person up is Kevin Lindsay, who, again, has just been great to work with. Thank you, Kevin.
I'm the closer, I guess. I know everybody's wanting to get out and get to walking, but I just want to take a minute to thank everyone that come out. That means that you show interest in our neighborhood and an interest in vision in our city. We live in a great city. And you can ask many of our state representatives. I was in Washington not too long ago. Lamar Alexander said, I had breakfast with them and Bob Corcoran. They say, where do you live at? And I said, City of Franklin. He said, you live in a great place. You're in a good place. And it really didn't hit me until on the flight back that what he was really talking about. It's safe here. People are interactive with each other. We have a great community, and it's just a great place to live. So I appreciate all of you coming out, spending your great Friday morning. Tori ordered us up some sunshine, so thank you, Tori. Appreciate that. But I would like to thank Lisa Clayton. That's my director. She allows me time to spend. Yeah, everybody give her a hand. She's back there in the back, incognito. But appreciate her letting me be the liaison to this group. There are so many visionaries in the Trails Greenway Committee that, you know, if you're not a part of it, shame on you. You should be. So, you know, we have some great visioning that takes place, and appreciate each and every one of you that helps out. I also want to thank some of my staff. Even though the sign may look like it just popped out of Walmart, you know, it took a lot of vision, a lot of staff time to try to make that happen, and we're still improving every day that we put one up. So Trevor French and Darren, can y'all please raise your hands? I think you're here. Darren's right over here, Trevor. Darren has welded on site, he has cut, he has installed every sign that we've got out here. He and his staff actually, you know, drove the post in the ground. But I appreciate all of y'all's help that it took to do this. Jake Harvey, IT. Where you at, Jake? Everybody give Jake a hand. Without Jake, the picture on this sign right here would not have happened. So City of Franklin allows us to have our own GIS, geo-informational system. We were able to go down with a couple meetings with Jake and figure out what that view was going to look like. I shared that with the Friends group and our Trails Committee to say, hey, have we got everything labeled on here that we need to? So, you know, 5 or 6 trips to City Hall. Jake, I appreciate what you do for us, and thank you for coming today. Another person is Annette Dalrymple, which she is not here. I think she's in a meeting in Nashville, but she's the one that took all the files from Matt's company and all of our visioning and tried to put that together so that behind us, that's what she's laid out for us. So appreciate her. Give her a hand. I know she's not here, but she deserves a hand. And Alderman Matt Brown, you know, for helping us come up with some of those colors and, you know, getting those files. We truly appreciate it. And then yeah. Then John Jackson. John and I have been out here. We've walked in the rain. I think we walked in the snow. You know, it's been a pleasure working with you. I hope we continue to get to work together. I think you're due to fall off on the board, so talk to your wife and get back on that board. I think John said as soon as we get the bridge built and he walks across, then his term is done. Is that true? I hope it's not. So it's been a pleasure, and anything we can do going forward, you've got my number, you've got my email, and thank you for all that you do. So I don't want to hold us up anymore. Yeah, give John a hand. I know everybody wants to get walking, so I guess we're ready to cut the ribbon. Who's going to cut? Tori? Friends? Jay? Adam? Yeah, if you're on the Riverwalk Trails Committee, come on up, please.
HOA.